Long ago, in the radiant, sunrise-kissed city of Omeko, a place where the rooftops glowed like polished gold and traders' songs floated through the air like drifting incense, there lived a young woman named Amora. She was the only daughter of the wealthiest merchant in all the western plains, a man whose caravans stretched farther than a traveler's eye could follow. His name opened doors, melted stubborn hearts, and commanded respect in any village from the river Udu to the hills of Nko. But even more than her father's reputation, it was Amora's beauty that captured the spirit of Omeko. People spoke of her in casual gossip and in reverent whispers. Musicians composed melodies for her, artists carved her likeness into wood, and elders described her grace to their grandchildren as if it were part of the city's history. They called her the Rose of Omeko City, not just because of her looks, but because she seemed to carry a fragrance of elegance wherever she went. Yet, behind her shining ornaments and flowing gowns, Amora's heart was quietly aching. She had jewels that glittered like rivers under the sun, servants who stepped aside and bowed deeply when she walked past, and suitors who journeyed across kingdoms to seek her hand. But all these things, bright as they were, could not fill the one space that longed to be whole, her desire for true love. Among her many suitors was a young traveler named Obina, whose arrival in Omeko caused an excitement unlike the others. He had a gentle smile, the kind that made passers-by lower their guard. His eyes were soft, filled with the warmth of distant sunrises, and his voice carried a rhythm that made people lean closer without knowing why. When he spoke of places he had traveled, lands where palm wine flowed like laughter, villages where the nights were lit with festival torches, markets where every voice mingled like a choir, Amora felt her heart flutter. When he told her, "I dream of building a peaceful home, somewhere quiet, somewhere full of laughter," she believed him. His stories lit a fire inside her that no jewel could match. But her father was not swayed by Obina's charm. "A man with too many stories carries too many secrets," he warned, his deep voice firm like carved stone. "And a house built on stories may crumble before the first rain." But Amora, young and hopeful, dismissed his words. She saw only the charming traveler who promised warmth, adventure, companionship, everything her lonely heart longed for. In her mind, love was fire. Love was bold. Love was choosing the person who made your spirit dance. She did not want to marry for wealth or status. She wanted a heart that called to hers. And so, despite her father's stern objections, Amora chose Obina. Her decision broke the quiet heart of Eziobi, a humble craftsman who had loved her silently for years. Unlike Obina, Eziobi did not dazzle with stories or charm. His hands were raw from carving wood, his clothes simple, his eyes gentle. While he had never declared his love, everyone in the marketplace knew. They saw the way he watched Amora with soft admiration each time she passed by. They saw the way his smile trembled whenever she greeted him. But he hid his feelings, believing he had nothing worthy to offer her. When news spread that Amora was marrying Obina, Eziobi locked himself inside his workshop for days. Not out of bitterness, but from the grief of knowing he was losing someone he never truly had. The wedding was as bright as any in Omeko's history. Drummers played, children danced, and the air seemed sweet with celebration. Amora believed she had chosen a man who would protect her heart. But soon after the wedding, the beautiful story began to darken. At first, it was small things. Obina would return home late, brushing off her worries with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. He started drinking more palm wine, laughing loudly with strange companions she had never met before. He began selling small trinkets, a bracelet here, a pair of earrings there. He said it was full of business opportunities, and she believed him because she loved him. But then the small lies grew teeth. He dismissed loyal servants who had served her family for years. He borrowed money in her name. He traveled for days without explanation. And every time she confronted him, he silenced her with soft words and an embrace that felt more like a cage. One night, when the moon hung low like a wounded eye bleeding silver across the sky, Obina disappeared, vanishing with the last of her wealth. Amora waited until sunrise, then until sundown, then until the moon rose again. But he did not return. When she realized he had run away with everything she owned, something inside her broke so completely she felt she might crumble into dust. Her father was furious. To him, her marriage was not just a personal mistake, it was a public humiliation. Their respected name, smeared by a reckless traveler. And so, standing at the entrance of his grand mansion, he looked at his weeping daughter and delivered the words that would haunt her for months. You chose the path. Now walk it. He banished her from the mansion. Amora left with only a small bundle of clothes, her tears falling like rain on the dusty path. She moved to the edge of the city, where the rich did not go, where life was bare and survival demanded grit. She lived in a small mud house and sold fruits in the marketplace just to eat. People whispered behind her back. The rose has wilted. She loved too fast. Let her learn her lesson. But the deepest wound was not their whispers. It was the truth in her own heart. She had betrayed herself by choosing appearance over character. And so the rose of Omeko began her fall, a fall that would change her forever.